day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of December 2025. I'm Katie Wechuma, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Here are today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Senator Tome urges continued fight against GBV beyond 16 days of activism. Government must walk the talk on zero tolerance to corruption, says Honorable Hlajwayo. Human rights violations have increased under Mnangagwa, says Chuma. Now let's take a look at our stories in detail. Today marks the end of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, but the opposition's welfare department leader, Senator Amai Vongai Tome, says the fight must continue beyond the commemorative period. She emphasized that society should speak out against GBV every day, describing the GBV scourge as retrogressive and calling for its complete eradication from communities. Let's hear Senator Tome speaking.
Fellow citizens, today marks the end of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, but it must never mark the end of our fight. We continue to fight. Gender-based violence is not a women's issue. It is a family issue, a community issue, and a national issue. When one woman suffers in silence, a whole society is wounded. Now, to end these 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, it calls us to action, to protect survivors, to educate our sons and daughters, to challenge the harmful norms, to build a Zimbabwe where violence has no home at all, to create safe spaces where women and girls can thrive. Let us move beyond awareness to transformation. Let these 16 days inspire 365 days of commitment, compassion, and change. No woman should fear her own home, no. No girl should doubt her worth. No survivor should walk alone. We should walk together. Let us be each other's keeper and work together for a better Zimbabwe for all. I thank you.
Harare Women Proportional Representation MP Honorable Gladys Hlajwayo has called for the government to walk the talk on zero tolerance for corruption. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, Honorable Hlajwayo also called for the fast-tracking of whistleblowers bill in order to protect citizens who expose corruption. She also raised questions on the new phenomenon where individuals connected to Emmerson Mnangagwa are dishing out cars and cash without explanation on their source of wealth. Let's hear Honorable Hlajwayo speaking.
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker.
Good afternoon.
I rise on a point of national interest on International Anti-Corruption Day. Today we commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. The day is a reminder of the commitments that we made as a country when we signed and ratified the International Convention Against Corruption on the 25th of February 2004 and on the 8th of March 2007, respectively. This year's theme, Uniting Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity, shines a spotlight on the vital role of young people in fighting the scourge of corruption, including harnessing emerging technologies and strengthening governance and institutional systems to uphold transparency and accountability. Our hope lies in the urgence of young people in preventing and combating corruption. As members of parliament and indeed as a society, we have a responsibility to build a new generation of Zimbabweans anchored on integrity. With Zimbabwe's corruption perception index score at 21 out of 100, we can surely do better as a country, and our young people can play a pivotal role in strengthening systems of integrity. Young people should also cherish hard-earned wealth rather than quick money, a phenomenon that has become ubiquitous in today's world. Zimbabwe ought to move beyond adopting a zero tolerance to corruption policy on paper to implementing the policy in letter and spirit, Mr. Speaker said. The whistleblowers bill that has been considered and approved by Cabinet must be expeditiously enacted by this House to empower not just the young people, but Zimbabwean citizens in general to report corruption without fear of reprisals and intimidation. I so submit.
Today is the International Day of Human Rights commemorations, and the opposition says the country's human rights situation has gone worse under Emmerson Mnangagwa's so-called Second Republic. One of the officials in the opposition, Stephen Sarkozy Chuma, said Mnangagwa's regime has committed some of the worst human rights violations, including abductions, torture, and pre-trial detentions. Let's hear Chuma speaking.
Yes, it is not mendacious to say that the issues of human rights violations have escalated under Emmerson Mnangagwa's so-called Second Republic. It is under Emmerson Mnangagwa that witnessed an increase in abductions, an increase in torture, an increase in pre-trial detention, an increase in arbitrary arrests of opposition members. It is under Emmerson Mnangagwa that we saw the abduction and torture of Cecilia Chimbiri, Joanna Mamombe, and Netsai Marova. It was also under Emmerson Mnangagwa that we witnessed the abduction of Takutu Wangadzore, who captured the abduction live on Facebook, where we saw men with the guns going after Ngadzore. But despite the evidence and even citizens supplying names of those people who were captured live on Facebook, the police have not done anything in terms of investigations. This clearly shows that the state under Emmerson Mnangagwa is in complicity as far as violations of basic rights is concerned. We've also seen an increase in pre-trial detentions. The case of Job Scala comes to the mind, where he spent over 500 days in pre-trial detention. The case of Senator Jameson Trimba and the Avondale 78 also comes to the mind, when he spent many days at Rand prison for commemorating the Day of African Child. And no one is safe under Emmerson Mnangagwa. We've also seen journalists like Faith Zaba, Blessed Mhlanga being arrested for doing their line of duty. So clearly, issues of human rights violations have gone a notch up under Emmerson Mnangagwa, because he is no constitutionalist, as he say, but this is a man who takes pride in violating basic and fundamental rights of citizens.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Mbizo, Honorable Kopan Matsivanyika, said on this International Human Rights Day, there is need for justice for slain opposition activist Mboneni Ncube, who was murdered by ZANU-PF thugs in 2022. Ncube was stabbed to death by SPA at a CCC rally in Mbizo that was addressed by Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Honorable Matsivanyika said Ncube's murderers must be jailed for their crime. Let's hear Honorable Matsivanyika speaking.
Today, as the world commemorates the International Human Rights Day, that is the time when, as a nation, we are called to reflect on the universal principles of dignity. We are called to reflect on the universal principles of freedom. We are also called to reflect on the universal principles of justice. These are the principles that should anchor, or that are meant to protect every person in this country. Yet in Zimbabwe, particularly the Midlands province, these are constituents to be specific. In 2022, there is an unresolved, painful murder of a political activist, Mboneni Ncube. So you find that the unresolved murder of Mboneni Ncube continues actually to indict on the failure of the justice delivery system to hold his killers to account. So we now have more questions than answers. What does it mean to a nation when those who speak the truth to power can be easily murdered without any consequence? What does it mean when families grieving unimaginable loss are left without answers? They are left without closure. They are left without justice. It is a clear indictment, the fact that the justice delivery system in Zimbabwe is failing. It has failed the victims. It has also failed the ideals of human rights and justice in this country. So you find that the refusal or the inability to prosecute Mboneni Ncube's killers, to me, it's a sign that this government has failed largely, and this government can do anything without impunity. So on this Human Rights Day, I actually call upon the police, I call upon the justice, the magistrate courts, I call upon everyone who is involved in the justice delivery system to ensure that the case of the unresolved murder of Mboweni Ncube is actually being reinstated on the roll and ensure that justice is actually served, so that we bring closure to the families of the bereaved.
Lawyers in Harare under the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights banner marched in the streets today to commemorate the International Human Rights Day. Some of the lawyers were carrying placards with messages condemning disregard of rule of law by the state, impunity, police brutality, abductions, and persecution of lawyers. The former Member of Parliament for Mount Pleasant, Honorable Fazai Mahere, has said the Mono Mutapa Investment Fund is open to abuse as it is exempted from oversight by Parliament. Mahere said it is against systems of good governance that such a huge fund managing millions of public finances does not report to Parliament. She said the fund might be abused as a tool for externalization of funds and corruption, as the fund is also exempted from procurement legislation. It is only 10 days before the Nkulumane by-election set for December 20. The seat, which fell vacant following the death of Honorable Desire Moyo in a road accident, is being hotly contested by 9 candidates. Former Lopengula Makwekwe Member of Parliament Honorable Eric Gono said among the contestants, Rodney Jele is the best option for the people of Bulawayo and Nkulumane. He said Jele, who previously served as a councillor, has a proven leadership track record of serving his community. Let's hear Gono speaking.
The presentation by Councillor Jele today in the Meet the Candidates program that was held at Nkulumane Hall proved to be an important one in assisting the people of Nkulumane in arriving at a decision. His experience that he gained through his service in council made it easy for him to approach the questions that were being thrown at the candidates. His answers were clear and they were demonstrating his understanding of the role of Parliament and the policy formulation. I think that the choice has been made even easier for the people of Nkulumane, because all the other contestants, when they were faced with these questions, they were stammering because they do not have the experience and they did not understand the role of a member of Parliament. This was demonstrated a lot by the ZANU-PF candidate, who brought young people to come and sing. Instead of articulating policy, they were articulating music, which is a complete parallel to what was being examined in terms of capacity of candidates. So I think that Councillor Jele, Honorable in making, is definitely going to cruise nicely on this one, and the people of Nkulumane have been given a very easy choice to make.
Meanwhile, this morning, the candidates for the by-election held a public debate to speak on what they had on offer for Nkulumane constituency. In the debate, Rodney Jele said that if elected, he will prioritize proper representation by ensuring residents are involved and informed. He also spoke about the need for continuous community engagement and to help craft legislation that reflects local needs, including free education, health issues, and unemployment. Let's hear his presentation.
Salibonani Nkulumane omuhle, mina igama nguRodney Jele, one of the candidates ezincintisa ukungena kuba ngu-MP eNkulumane, iyi-independent candidate. Nami ngumntwana wakho napha eNkulumane, ingumhlali wakho napha njalo futhi eNkulumane, njalo ngeke ngakhokhela khona apha eNkulumane, particularly ku-Ward 22. Isifiso sami bazali ngesokuthi nxa ingangena kuqhakathekile ukuthi sibe le proper representation. I-representation siyabe sikhuluma ukuthi umuntu ozabe emele iNkulumane constituency. Nxa sisithi simele iNkulumane constituency, awuphombi usukuma ugathi ibhasi uye Harare uyekhuluma izinto eziphuma ekhanda lakho. Kuqhakathekile ukuthi nxa sibe sihlangana sisenza ama-meetings community meetings, sibonisana ukuthi kuyini okusihluphayo esigabeni. Silama challenges amaningi phakathi kwesigaba lesi, silama challenges asihluphayo okufuna ukuthi sibonisane. So okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi abantu bebe besenza ama engagements, sisenza ama meetings, sibone ukuthi kuyini okusikhathazayo eNkulumane. You recall ukuthi iNkulumane is unique kulamanye amalokitshi. Emakhokho baba nama problems abo, thina eNkulumane silama problems abo. So nxa ungayekela ukuhlangana labadala beNkulumane kuzaba nzima ukuthi uhambe eParliament uye represent iNkulumane. Njalo kunye okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi nxa sufika ngale umsebenzi kaMember of Parliament ngokubumba imithetho. But imithetho awuyibumbi iphuma esikhwameni sakho. Imithetho uyibumba iphuma kuzakhamizi. Njalo futhi imithetho esabe sikhayele ukuthi siyibumbe imithetho engaviolate ama human rights. Sikhuluma ngama issues amanye omela implementwe anjenge free education, sikhuluma ngama issues ama pensioners abantu abadala ukuthi batholani, sikhuluma ngama issues unemployment ukuthi abantu bethole imisebenzi, ama industry evulwe, abantu besebenze, abanye ngabazisebenzayo, ifunding yangikhona ukuthi abantu abazisebenzayo bayithola njani. These are the issues okumele sisikhanyele, because one of the roles also as a member of Parliament monitoring, monitor ama MP, ama ministers, monitor ama government officials ukuthi are they doing what they are supposed to do, are they serving the people of Zimbabwe, particularly the people of Nkulumane ngendlela eyiyo ngendlela efaneleyo. Okunye okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi sibisi development eNkulumane. There are so many issues esizikhangeleleyo ukuthi zidevelop eNkulumane. Mina ngiyintsha sesikhangele siqhathanisa lamanye amazwe where everything is computerized. These are such development esizikhangelele ukuthi sizibise eNkulumane. Njalo futhi okuqhakathekileyo ukuthi njengomember of Parliament userve abantu, ubakhulumele njalo ubise i-change ku-community yeNkulumane. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga.
Still on the debate, a woman in the audience boldly held up Zimbabwe's constitution and confronted ZANU-PF candidate Freedom Murechu over the party's unconstitutional and widely unpopular 2030 agenda. She argued that his claim of putting Nkulumane first while pushing the 2030 plan directly contradicts the constitution and fails to reflect the true needs and will of the people. Let's hear her speaking.
Constitution, I would like to believe the party is pushing for the 2030 agenda. Yeah, so when I go over the city, Ufurukumela Nkulumane Parliament. Sorry, let me take that again. Baba nkunola kuti ndikufunzei kuti imimi muri kuti munoda kunomirira Nkulumane ku Parliament. Vamwe venyu vari kutaura kuti they are pushing for a 2030 agenda kuitira kuti ZANU-PF irambe ichitungamirira, whereas constitution yedu inotitaurira kuti vanhu vanofanirwa kupinda Parliament for 5 years. Mutungamiriri anofanirwa kutonga for 5 years. But imimi murukuti that thing must go on. Zvakanakawo here. I feel kuti murukuti dzvinyirira. Ndiri kurwadziwa pamusana. I am a woman and I am a mother. I want to be heard. Baba constitution yedu tokumira kuiti
Yes,
that's what the constitution. Let's say we don't want to be 2030 agenda to go on. We want to be elections in 2028. This is my word. This is my Bible. This is my constitution. I am actually shaking with anger. You don't want to watch the water and I'm cheating Jinirina. Closing the mic or not closing the mic do not stop me. I am a human rights defender. Let me defend the humans.
After the debate, a Citizens Movement Radio had an opportunity to speak with Nkulumane community leaders and residents who were present, and they expressed their support for Rodney Jele. Let's hear them speaking.
Lingalitshona njani mina engikhulumayo ngingu-Oli Dube ngihlala eNketha 6 ngiphathi ka Ward 22 Nketha 6 siyaxhumana yangena ku Ward 22 so ngiku Ward 22 khonapha sibe sibanengi izakhamuzi zeNketha 6 sizoxhasa ubaba uRodney Jele. Ubaba uRodney Jele namuhla bekulilanga lethu lokubana sizwe ukuthi uRodney Jele usiphatheleni, usibikelani, kuyini alakho kumumetheo ngezakhamuzi zeNkulumane. Pho njenganamhla simlalele ubaba uRodney Jele esitsho amagama awakhulumileyo mayelana lezakhamizi zeNkulumane, hayi silethemba elihle lokubana sizaphakama ngabunengi. Amavoice achile ngokujabula, ngokumqakezela, lokumtshayela umpululu ngoba ube mumethe esitsho imicho eqhakathekileyo kakhulu.
Right, isifuseba lokukhulumana constituency tichitsigira Jele mataurira aita aratidza kuti munhu uya ari kuda kusimudzira constituency yake, munhu uya ari kuda kusimudzira vagari vemuconstituency yake, munhu ari kuziva zvaari kuita, munhu ane gwara, is got a focus zvese zviri kuitika. Saka Jere ndinoona ari munhu ane kodzero yekuti aite candidate as an MP yeNkulumane constituency. Saka tinomutsigira, takatibonde tinomutsigira, ende zvaari kuita zvinhu zvinoratidza kuti zvine gwara mukati. I think ndozvandingangotaura.
Okay, salibonani lonke, mina igama lami nginguphetha Muswe. Ngikhonapha eNkulumane Hall lapho kade sile meet the candidate selection. Ama candidates bakhulumile, yes, sibazwile bakhulumile, but abanye bebengacaci, abanye baphuzile ukubuya, but mina engingakutsho vele ukuthi may the best candidate win, njalo may uJele win ngoba uJele nguye ofunwa ngabantu, nguye okhethwe ngabantu. So ngimfisela uJele inhlanhla ukuthi mhla ka-20 ehle ethathe isikhundla esimele kuParliament. Ngiyabonga.
The Mashonaland West Women Proportional Representation Member of Parliament, Honorable Mutsa Morombeti, has said the newly enacted Parks and Wildlife Management Amendment Act missed an opportunity to fully address human-wildlife conflict for the benefit of the communities that are at risk of loss of life. Honorable Morombeti said instead of the relief fund stated in the Act, a compensation fund was going to be more appealing for victims of human-wildlife conflict. She said the state must fully compensate victims and families of people who lose lives and property to wild animals. Back to our top story. The Masvingo youth leader Kelvin Tinaro and the ZCT youth team concluded a workshop on ending gender-based violence under the 16 Days of Activism campaign. During the closing session, Tinaro urged young people to take an active role in reporting and stopping GBV. The workshop highlighted community vigilance, survivor support, and stronger referral pathways. Assistance is available through the Youth Help Center and the National GBV hotline, which is 0800 22 22 22, and the National Childline Helpline 116. In our sports news, two of Warriors' key players, Marshall Munetsi and Jordan Zemura, are likely to miss the upcoming AFCON tournament due to injuries. According to a report, Wolves coach Rob Edwards gave an update about the injury of Munetsi, saying he is likely to be out for at least 6 weeks. Meanwhile, Udinese player Jordan Zemura picked an injury during his club's match in the Serie A and is likely to miss out on the AFCON squad. Zimbabwe opened their AFCON campaign against Egypt on 22 December. A controversial late penalty call by the video assistant referee VAR and Liverpool a 1-0 win over last season's finalist Inter Milan at San Siro in the UEFA Champions League. Here are results of other matches played last night. Atlanta 2, Chelsea 1, Tottenham 3, Slavia Prague 0, Barcelona 2, Frankfurt 1, PSV 2, Atletico Madrid 3, Union Saint-Gilloise 2, Marseille 3, Monaco 1, Galatasaray 0, Kariat 0, Olympiacos 1, Bayern Munich 3, Sporting Lisbon 1. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once again. Senator Tome urges continued fight against GBV beyond 16 days of activism. Government must walk the talk on zero tolerance to corruption, says Honorable Hlatshwayo. Human rights violations have increased under Mnangagwa, says Chuma. This is the end of our bulletin. Good evening.